Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Talk about frightening takeoffs and landings at airports situated on the side of cliffs, on crowded beaches, or on icy terrains. Hang on, as we have for you a list of some of the most dangerous airports in the world. Tenzing Hillary Airport, Lukla, Nepal. With a dreadful history of 10 major crashes in 60 years, Nepal's Tenzing Hillary Airport is built smack dab in the center of jagged Himalayan mountains, surrounded by steep cliffs and peaked edges. The airport is 8,000 feet above sea level, which means the plane must cope with the hindrance and turbulence caused by the air. Moreover, an uneven and bumpy upward curve makes planes lose speed and momentum whilst taking off and gain too much speed while landing. For pilots, there is no chance of a go-around due to the terrain ahead. The government only allows small helicopters or propeller planes to land here. Sorry, commercial jet pilots, you will have to find some other safe place to land. Gibraltar International Airport. On the 10th of January 2012, Gibraltar was selected as one of the world's scariest airports for takeoffs and landings in the travel section of the Daily Telegraph. This is a civilian airport established in 1939 during World War II as an emergency landing base for the British Navy. The structure and planning of the airport reflect the mastermind behind its construction, as the runway passes through the busiest road on the island. Yes, you heard that right. And not only do the vehicles have to stop every time a plane passes, but the pilot also has to look out for road traffic apart from air traffic. In May 2002, a mishap took place with the aircraft Monarch Boeing 757-200 from Luton. Because of the wrong maneuver of the first pilot, the aircraft bent forward strongly. Miraculously, thanks to the coordinated cooperation of the pilots, it succeeded in avoiding an aircraft crash. Princess Juliana Airport. This is the main airport on the Caribbean island of St. Martin. The end of its runway is located close to Maho Beach, only 7,000 feet in length, making it one of the most dangerous airports to land and take off in the world. The aircraft passes ridiculously close to the beach at a scarily but awesome altitude, which is truly amazing. The shockwave from the engine of the plane has such a power that it literally knocks down the curious extremists watching the takeoff and landing. Pilots have to touch down as early as possible, which looks like the aircrafts are buzzing right over the heads of Maho Beach residents. Unfortunately, this is not without any risk. In 2012, a blast from a massive jet engine caused a 57-year-old to lose her life. When the plane engine fired, she lost her grip from the fence, rolled down like a piece of paper, and was thrown into a concrete barrier. Paro International Airport, Bhutan. If you ever want to fly to the valley of the Blue River, you only have one choice: Paro Airport, the only airport in the entire country. Landing there is literally a life or death experience. Bhutan is a tiny country locked by mountains. These mountains also conceal the airport until the last minute. It means that the pilot has to navigate by multiple jagged edges while quickly descending to the challenging runway after one final super sharp 45-degree turn. They do all this while dealing with heavy turbulence caused by the violent mountain winds. Upon landing, passengers literally exhilarate to applaud the pilot's expertise and pinpoint flying abilities, and to celebrate the simple fact that they're still alive. Currently, only 8 people are qualified for flying into Paro Airport, only in the daytime with good weather conditions. Despite the fact that the airport is life-threatening, luckily, no horrible incidents are recorded so far. Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport, Montierra, Portugal. Despite being a popular tourist destination, this airport is definitely not for the chicken-livered ones to land. The fact that makes it the most dangerous one is the rocky cliffsides and ocean around the runway, bringing strong winds, usually accompanied by harsh weather conditions. This resulted in a tragedy in 1977, when over 160 people died during an air crash. So, it was decided to drastically extend the runway to ensure passenger safety. 1,800 columns were erected, some right over the Atlantic Ocean, for the runway extension right on the top. No horrible incident has been witnessed after that. Still, the pilots must have guts and simulator training to use such a platform for aircraft operations, and to qualify to fly to this airport. The last part of the approach is the visual segment, meaning they are navigating by spotting the landmarks. To honor Cristiano Ronaldo, who was born on this island, this airport was named after him. McMurdo Airport, Antarctica. Although air travel is believed to be the safest means of traveling, when it comes to the only air station in Antarctica, the delusion of icy runway and extreme weather conditions send chills down the spine of those who have experienced it. The aerial view of this airport gives a sense of white sheet spreading all above the land. Being the only runway for the U.S. Antarctic program, it can be used by medium to large-size aircraft, and it is made up of tightly packed snow or white ice. In other words, there is a glassy, manicured ice nicely frozen all over the runway, which is not always welcoming to the airplanes coming to this airport. Along with the constant menaces of planes veering over, there's also a danger of the ice cracking from the aircraft's weight. Unfortunately, in 1970, an AC-121 slipped off the runway and is buried deep into the glaciers till today. Gustav III Airport, St. Barthelemy. This airport is also known as St. Barthelemy Airport, opened in 1984. The fact that causes this airport to be the most dangerous is the runway that has been squeezed between a public beach and a steep hill. During the landing, the aircrafts are so close up to the slopes that there is a threat of falling into the ocean. Pilots are required to descend 3 times deeper than normal to avoid hitting passing cars or pedestrians. Because of this, only small prop planes are able to land at St. Bart's Airport. In fact, the runway is extremely short for even the smallest jet engine plane to land. Well, fortunately, till this date, only a few small accidents have been recorded, with no death record. Wellington Airport, New Zealand. Anyone who has ever flown into Wellington has a story to tell. Descents so bumpy it feels like you're falling downstairs, landings aborted at the last minute, passengers applauding the pilot after a particularly rocky flight, white knuckles, sweaty palms. It's all part of flying into one of the world's windiest airports. This third busiest airport is located in the suburb of Rongotai in Wellington, which has a reputation for rough and turbulent landings. This airport has a runway of approximately 6,000 feet, and due to the proximity to the ocean, it gives a healthy dose of challenging landings to pilots. The challenging effect of Cook Strait and bird strikes are the most significant threat to flights. One such unfortunate incident was experienced by Flight 1549, whose pilot had to ditch his plane in the Hudson River. Courchevel Airport, France. What makes this airport so challenging is the fact it is the combination of terror as well as thrill. The French Alps are a sight of quaint scenery for the skiers who come to enjoy their vacations in the beautiful Alps. But for the pilots flying to this crazy, dangerous airport, the Alps are rather pesky and problematic. The short 1,722-foot runway is literally on a cliff at the one end, with a downward slope of 18.5 degrees. Flying in this airport is not child's play. The functionality of the airport is also limited by technical conditions due to the lack of the landing approach for navigation systems. This leads to the fact that landing during fog or low-setting clouds is absolutely impossible. Too fast or too slow could lead to falling into the precipice at the beginning of the runway or crashing into the snow at the end. which actually happened in February 2019. Wancho E-Yarasquin Airport, Saba Island. With a length of only 400 meters and in a dangerous location right next to the sea, this pitiful runway raises the following question. Why does this airport even exist? Built into the island of our hero King Kong, this is the world's shortest runway, with no chance for the pilot to even sneeze at the wrong time, as this would lead to the aircraft falling off the cliff right into the sea. This harrowing airport is available for all kinds of disasters due to its location, making every landing a nerve-wracking challenge. Only regional propeller aircraft with specially qualified pilots are allowed to operate there. Santos Dumont Airport. One look at this airport, and you will understand why it is on the list. The Santos Dumont Airport of Brazil suffered from one of the most horrific crashes of all time. In July 2007, Santos Dumont Airport was the home to the worst air disaster in Brazilian history. More than 200 people lost their lives because of a plane crash. This happened because the runway was too small for a commercial flight landing during rain. The pilot also failed to apply brakes at the appropriate time, which resulted in a collision with a building across the road from the airport and burst into flames. There was a huge uproar after the incident, as many claimed that the incident could have been prevented if the management were effective. The location of the airport is also problematic, as it is very close to the city center. Barra Airport, Scotland. This airport will make you hate wind. Barra Airport is an international airport in Scotland. It is the only airport in the world to use a sandy beach as its runway. This airport has 3 runways, and each is marked with wooden poles. They are used based on the direction of the wind. This airport is also dangerous because all 3 runways get submerged during high tides in the sea, so the flight schedules need to be adjusted according to these winds. Also, the Barra Airport cannot be used at night, as there is no specialized equipment. Sometimes the cars in the parking lot have to turn their lights on to help pilots during landing. So, if you want a puke-filled, nauseating trip amidst high tides, book a ticket for Barra Airport. Narsarsuaq Airport. Being the only international airport in Greenland, Narsarsuaq Airport is encircled by sheets and sheets of ice. The runway, which is barely 1,800 meters in length, is covered in smooth ice, which presents a significant challenge for pilots for landing and takeoff. Additionally, severe weather can generate turbulence and reduce visibility, which causes both the aircraft crew and passengers to feel uncomfortable. Well, uncomfortable is a small word when you were talking about driving on top of an icy sheet. There have been many small crashes. One such happened in 2001 when the crew did not adhere to the standard operating procedures with regards to altitude calls and checklist reading. Svalbard Airport, Norway. Svalbard Airport of Norway is located on the ice-frosty surface. Surrounded by huge mountains, this airport is one of the toughest places for landing. Even its construction was extremely challenging. Structural work has been done using ice, such as the hangar, which is frozen into the ground by massive pillars of ice. Because the airport is built on permafrost, if the land thaws, the airport will be rendered useless. This is because the airport runways are directly built on thick, permanent ice. Because of all of this, global warming is one of the main concerns for the airport. It suffered one of the most deadly crashes in 1996, in which 141 people died. What happened is that the plane was only 10 miles away from the airport when it crashed into a mountain. Toncontín Airport. Located in Honduras, this airport is considered to be one of the most dangerous due to its close proximity to mountainous terrain and its short runway. The place also has a tragic history of crashes. It is estimated that at least 10 planes have crashed in and around Toncontín since 1989. One of the deadliest crashes was of a Boeing 727, operated by a Honduran carrier that struck the hillside on approach and burst into flames, sadly killing 131 people. It remains the deadliest aviation accident in Central American history. Morgue technicians even told the local media that most of the bodies were burned beyond recognition. Due to all these incidents, the Honduran airport was replaced with another one. Matakane Airport. Located in Lesotho, Africa, the Matakane airstrip is considered one of the most dangerous runways in the world. Did you know that while taking off, if the plane couldn't fly before the end of a 1,300-foot-long runway, it will fall off from a 2,000-foot cliff? It's literally do or die here. The bad winds make it even more chilling and dangerous. Each time before landing, the pilots have to calculate the braking distance very precisely. Otherwise, the short runway cannot be enough for a successful landing. The departure at this airport will be a breathtaking attraction for the pilots. In 2009, the dangerous airport was closed for international flights, although private small aircraft still use it actively. Would you dare to fly up from there? Tell us by commenting below. Manitzock Greenland. Rest aside the dangerous part. Let's talk about the mesmerizing view of the Manitzock Airport that is to die for. Yeah, no kidding. Located in Greenland, the airport is surrounded by icy mainland. It really doesn't even look like it's from this planet. At least, not the one most of us are used to seeing, but more like an alien ice world or Superman's Fortress of Solitude than anything else. But the downsides are that the runway at the airport is less than 3,000 feet long. That's extremely short for any type of commercial airport. Therefore, only certain aircraft with certain weights are permitted to take off or land there. Also, the weather condition is mostly bad, resulting in snowstorms which make it very difficult for the pilot to navigate. Congonhas Airport. Congonhas Airport, located in the center of Sao Paulo, Brazil, is the airport with the most slippery runways in the world. The bad drainage system is the main danger for experienced pilots. At present, the airport has 2 runways, the length of which are 1,435 and 1,940 meters. The general public knows the airport as it is notorious for a series of terrible aircraft crashes in which many people have lost their lives. The last major accident happened in July 2007. The crew of the Airbus TAM Airlines lost the force of the aircraft, which flew out of the runway and pushed to the storage area. All 187 passengers of the Airbus and 12 employees of the airport died. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it on over to us. Who knows? We might even feature it in one of our videos. This picture shows the horrific incident aboard Boeing 737, which crashed into the ocean off Hawaii near Honolulu. According to the report, the engines of the aircraft failed, which forced the pilot to an emergency landing in the water. Nearby residents were seen rescuing the people aboard. Agatti Island Airport. The Agatti Airport, located on an Indian island, is one of the most breathtaking yet dangerous ones to be on the list. It is the sole airport for approximately 36 tourist islands. The reason behind it being dangerous is the tiny land strip that is surrounded by the sea blue waters of the Arabian Sea. This strip is measured to be just 4,000 feet long. However, there have been continuous talks about the strip's extension over the years, but the idea was later dismissed as the authorities feared that the spot would become a nesting spot for turtles. Other reasons are that the airport doesn't have any runway lights or navigational aids, which makes it extremely difficult to navigate at night and during bad weather. Kaitak Airport, Hong Kong. When it comes to airports, you might think about a desolate place located on the outskirts of the city with a chic, modern appearance, representing the prosperous city. Well, the Kaitak Airport, located in Hong Kong, was something truly unique. It was in a built-up city area with an unusually complex and dramatic surrounding area. The runaway track of the airport was so dangerous that it was a heart attack-inducing nightmare for many pilots. The airport was quite challenging for pilots to land. The plane used to fly just tens of meters over apartment buildings surrounding the airport. It was so close that the passengers often commented that they could see into the flats of the nearby buildings. Also, the residential area suffered from the loud noises of the aircraft, which disrupted their lives. Due to all these limitations, unfortunately, it was closed in 1998. But man, what a spectacle it must have been! That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. See you next time!